Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Myst. Last episode was effectively a lore dump episode, as I read through two books that provided information here. One on an age known as Channelwood, and one on an age known as Stoneship. Fascinating things, both of them. Two others we need to read, so let's look at each of them. Starting with this one. It has been a while since I have heard only silence, and I enjoy it greatly. I think for some reason I do not feel altogether welcome in this new world in which I have arrived, but how could I be unwelcome in an age with no inhabitants? It is, of course, only in my head. This world is very beautiful, but I think I have yet to ever write in a journal that an age I have linked to is horrid or disgusting. From the grassy hill where I am standing, I can see green fields below, along with a few scattered forests. A rather large lake looms some distance from where I am standing, yet the water's blue can be seen plainly from here. The air is fresh, and the sky is sprinkled with white clouds. It is absolutely breathtaking. And yet that strange feeling again. Perhaps it is the hot breeze that continues to blow from the north. Hotter than I would have imagined, it almost singes my skin, and I feel quite uncomfortable when it comes. I will try to ignore it. Night has almost arrived, and the sunset is spectacular. Oranges and reds have settled above the western horizon. Though night has come, the horizon still glows red long past the sunset. Dark reds flow from the horizon and blend into the black sky. Again the feeling, and I am beginning to believe it is not all in my mind. I must sleep now. I will need my strength to explore more tomorrow. I have had to return home due to an unpredictable natural occurrence more frightening than I have ever experienced. I was awakened by terrible shakings in the ground and explosions on all sides of me. Gigantic balls of fire were falling from the sky, and I immediately left in fear of my life. I must remember to bring a Myst linking book with me when I return, in case the one left there has been destroyed or damaged. I have returned to a different world than the one I left only 3 months ago. It has been transformed into a barren desert land with only gigantic craters scattered across the land to provide variety. Strangely enough, the small grassy hill where I spent my first night remains exactly the way I found it. Apparently, the falling meteors did not hit this area, leaving an oasis in the midst of this horrible desolation. The hot wind, I remember, has turned into a rather pleasant breeze, which is at least one improvement. I fear it is the only improvement. The magnificent lake I saw on my first visit is now completely dried up. However, another lake now exists and appears to be quite a bit larger. I assume one of the falling meteors created this lake due to its circular shape and the jutting rock that grows out of the center of the lake. The rest of this world seems like desert, although I will verify that statement with closer inspection. Though this world has little visual excitement to offer, it offers much to the ears. Sounds constantly flow through my ears, and I have found where a few of them originate. It seems, as Catherine says, I do find beauty in everything. Last night I was awakened by a horrible hissing. I was sweating, and the heat was so intense that I immediately dipped my head in a nearby stream to cool it down. The hot breezes had returned, along with a low roar from the ground. I walked a short distance to observe some red flames shooting up from the earth. Suddenly, the ground began to crack and a huge chasm opened. The chasm continued to grow until it was far too wide to cross. Then the tumult subsided, leaving only a dull roar. I have decided, however, I can use the chasm to my advantage. Perhaps the heat from the chasm can be harnessed. Even as the chasm has ripped into the surface of this world, it has opened up a whole new world to explore. Although uncomfortably hot, I found it possible to reach a cave in the chasm that had been created, and have now explored deep into the crust of this planet. I have found a vast underground cave system that will take many years to map and explore. I will also look for a safer way to reach the underground than through the chasm wall. This age seems to change on its own, so I feel I should leave again and see if things are different when I return. It is also important that I check on Sirius and Akinar and make sure everything is going well. When I return, I also hope to bring back some tools I will need for my plans to explore the underground. The abundance of raw materials here is beginning to amaze me. I have returned with some of the complex tools I knew I would be needing. I assumed I would have to return for more basic materials, however. It seems as though I will not be able to find everything I need here. Of course, iron is abundant, but I have also found titanium occurring naturally. I am all the more excited to begin work. Everything is set, and I look forward to tomorrow. My raw materials are all here. I think I will be able to have most of my additions to this age completed within 1 year. I love working with my hands, whether writing or building. I have... Well, and I have decided. 3 meters is not enough support for... amazingly strong. It'll be one of the most prized inventions. I am extreme. Never have imagined it to come together. I doubt. Could possibly work with 14 instead of... Completely fatigued. I am so happy to have... Tomorrow. I am leaving today in order to bring back Cirrus and Aknar. I have left them alone in Channelwood. I believe they will enjoy all there is to see here. The age seems to have stabilized. I believe the meteors set off a period of volcanic activity by piercing into the shallow crust, but the tremors have become few. I have just noticed that a large amount of this journal has curiously vanished from the very pages on which I wrote over the last 18 months. Fortunately, I have copied many of my construction notes in another journal. I do not understand the many mysteries of this world, but I trust I will discover logical answers to my questions. I have a feeling that many of my questions can be answered in another age, to which I hope to travel soon. But for now, I must simply accept this world's mysteries and take pride in my accomplishments. We have a piano here, with notes on some of them. Strange. And here is, I guess this is a map of this world. There's no name given to it, but I do remember what the name given to it was in the hint book and the like. I don't think we ever see the name of it, and that was the area that I never actually visited. The Selenetic Age. So that's the third one. Now we have one more to look at. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures, and it was. The sky here is dark and gray, and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. I met a very old man with a long beard and hair that hangs to his waist. He is very feeble and has trouble even moving. This man has obviously been through very many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He has told me an interesting story of this world's history. Years ago, he told me, there was a beautiful city that rose out of the water. It housed many people inside its walls, and the people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a large lookout post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. The people had no means of traveling on the water, which forced them to merely wait for friend or foe. As time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed beyond the horizon. The people grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the usually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black strips appeared on the horizon. The lookout post's attempts at peace were turned away, and the sentries there were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. The black ships sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 of the survivors had died. He also said that it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they had started so long ago. I have decided, since hearing the man's story, it would be admirable to save the civilization and stop this enemy's plan of destruction. I am excited about the adventure that awaits me, and an idea has sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. I met the remaining survivors today, and I have begun work on a plan for protection. After a short absence, I have returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have, as of yet, traveled rarely with me, and they are understandably excited to be here. They have grown considerably since Everdunes, and it is already obvious to me that they will be a great help this time, instead of the nuisance they have been in the past. All three of us, along with four of the healthier survivors, began construction today. We are building upon the old city's ruins, which will provide a perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of my materials are stored. I am very pleased with their intelligence, and their creativity is refreshing to see, as they work on some small projects of their own. It has been over 4 months now, and construction is going well. My sons love the world except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky and tell me many times they wish the sky here were like the hot blue sky in Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me that the enemy is due in 4 months. I feel we will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing. It has been 6 months of work, and we have finally finished the fortress. It rests between the 3 hills, which are now only islands due to a rising water level that the people experienced after the attack. Inside the fortress, I have designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of a technology called holography. I began experimenting with on my visits to Aspermere. It will be working in a couple of days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. The enemy is due to come soon, and I trust the fortress will provide sufficient protection for all of us. The black ships have come. Their attack was substantial. Their weapons have been stopped, and it appears they have turned away in defeat. I cannot help but smile as I watch the boats leave. Last night we had a small celebration, and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I've had a healthy adventure and have begun work on a new book. Once again, I must leave a familiar age in search of a new universe I have begun. But first I will have an extended time with Catherine, whom I miss very much. I must also return to the people of the Tide. I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will ease the pain of their bone ailments that they have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing and my fortress still strong. Though the sky may always be black, I am confident the people here feel a heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. And this must be the age. That must be the fortress. I'm not going to say anything about what that looks like. And that is the 4th age. The mechanical age. Interesting stories, all of these, that we are told. 3 of them are populated. 1 was not and was incredibly unstable. And if you look back, you learn a fair bit. The main thing you learn is, well, the idea behind these books. Atris, obviously the one writing all these journals, is basically able to use something called the art in order to create worlds. And from there, he can link to and visit them, just like we came through the book. He then explored them and told of what he found, and that's what he's basically done. Create universes of his own so that he can explore them and learn about what he did. It seems he's also able to modify them somewhat, but that is a tricky thing. Apparently the art takes a lot of effort, and it's a difficult thing to figure out. There's always going to be issues. That said, that's all the books and all the information we can get. Now we have to explore, and there's only one other place we can go. And that is behind the bookshelf. Pardon me, I need some water. All that reading. Alright, so let's take a look behind here. And here we find some kind of elevator. Oh, it's powered. And the elevator turns partway up. And we're in the tower. Can't really see anything out here. It said something about a book. And here we have a key, with again, a solid wall that we can't explore. Well, there's not really much we can do here, so I guess we'll have to go back down. So we basically explored every route we can. We don't have many clues. The books we read didn't hold much. Only 2 of them really seem to have any definite clues that we could use. The Mechanical Age had no clues, and the Channelwood Age had no clues. The Stone Ship Age had a clue in the constellations here. Which, now that I think about it, we have a square here, we have stars, and these appear to be, at the very least, I did see that leaf. So, yep, there's a bird, there's an eye, there's a spider. So those constellations are linked to these. And now that I think about it, we can probably figure out what the constellations are by looking around in here. The problem is, we have literally thousands of years of possible constellations to look through, and many hours on each of those days, and all of the days of the month, and every month of the year. There are so many possible combinations, and we don't know which one is the one we need. So the only option left, we need to figure out what clue will tell us what we need in order to get through there. The rest of this we don't know. Mechanical Age... Well, this, considering it's linked to this ship, that means it must be linked to the ship outside. It only makes sense. The problem is, we can't do anything with it. We don't have that key piece of information we need. Everything else, well, we don't know. These gears are probably linked to the Mechanical Age. Gears are mechanical, after all, but we don't know how. Same with that clock. The hut and the tree... Well, the tree makes sense. It's probably somehow linked to the, whatever it's called. Channelwood Age. But we don't know how. And we don't know what this is all connected to. It must be linked to it. But we don't have whatever we need to open this safe, and we don't know what to do with all this. And which means that the last age, the Selenetic Age, must be linked to the, this spaceship over here. Which is linked down to, well, this power station down here. Unfortunately, we don't know how much power we need in order to open up the spaceship, which is probably, apparently, what we need. And we're not getting any power to the spaceship. Most likely, we kind of blew the breaker. Which, I think I know how we can fix. I mean, you look over here, you can see a ladder, so we just go down here, flip the breaker. That didn't do anything. Hold on, someone just texted me for God only knows what reason. There's another switch over there, though. Ah, here we are. This must be it. I have no idea what happened. We'll figure it out in a bit. As is, we've done everything we can here. So we need to figure out how to get that information so that we can solve all this. And right here is the key to all of that. Remember this? This will give us what we need. Because if we click this, the tower rotates, 4 locations. The gears, the sunken ship, the tree, and the spaceship. So we need to go through all of these to figure out what we need. And I am actually... You know what? Let's start with the first one in encounters. Let's take a look at the gears that are probably linked to mechanical age. And for the record, what we're going to do in these ages, explore, learn what we can from looking at them, and find the pages for Cirrus and Aknar. Then we can give them to them and we'll find out more. Up into the tower we go, since it was rotating. And now we can see outside. The book option does look outside to show us the gears, which means that must be where the book is. And the key, 240-221. Well, 240 is a time, but what does 221 have to do with anything? Well, if we have a time, and we have a clock, and we can set that clock, I suppose the only thing we can do is set the clock to that time. Then we'll be able to get inside, and we'll find something out. Question is, what's in there? Well, let's go out, head to the clock, and find out. We'll go through these ages one at a time. Alright, so... Okay, that's a big one. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And... well, that's 240. Press the button, and... well, we have a way over. And we can finally hit this last switch. And here... 333. Ah! So that's what we need to do. We need to get these to the right setup. And it seems there's a point at which it just doesn't work anymore. So the question is, how do we set this up? Well, this one does the bottom two, and this one does the top two. We need to get 221. So, if we can get it to 3 and 1... okay, I've got an idea. If... no, that's not what I wanted. That's what I want. If we can get the bottom to 2 and 1, or 3 and 2, or 1 and 3. Hold on. Let's see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Now, that is kind of what we want. Except it's not. That didn't give us what we want. We need to... And that's too far. That didn't work. Damn. Okay, this is tricky. How do we solve this? Okay, this... I know the idea behind these puzzles, I just can't remember the actual solutions to many of them, like this. We need to figure out the right combination of levers in order to get this to work, and we only have so many before we just have to reset and start over again. How do we do this? These two need to be the same, this one needs to be different. That's what we need to change. But if we pull to change that one, we screw up the other two. Excuse me. Hold on a minute. Okay, so if I can twist this around enough... That's close. That's actually close. Hold on, that's not what I wanted. Damn it, that's not it. How do we get through this? There must... Some of these puzzles are tricky. And even with a walkthrough, there was one that I just could never get. For reasons, but... Yes, I know. I did walkthroughs for many of these. I'm trying to figure this out on my own. There's got to be... That actually did nothing. Wait. Damn it, not quite. Maybe if I pulled it twice. Wait, I think. Damn it! I didn't do it again. Ugh. Wait. No, damn it! How do they do this? That's not gonna work. That just screws everything up. There must be an answer to this that I'm not getting. Wait. No, that's not it. Damn it. No, that's not it. No. It's close, but it's still not it. If I bring it back to 333, there's no point. And I can bring it down to 223, but that just doesn't help. It brings me back. This episode's already going on long. I honestly cannot remember how to solve this. That just brings me back to the 3 again. I can't figure out how to keep them lined up. I just need to rotate this one gear. I'm going to end this episode here. Next episode, I'll figure it out and we'll go to the next age. Till then, I'm Cheswick44. This has been a Let's Play of Myst, and I shall see you all next time. What is the solution?